All right, I think we're live. Welcome to our YouTube Live, everyone. Today I have Printulu's founder and CEO, Alex Knieps, joining me. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Trudy.
So Printulu has managed to scale to over 10,000 happy clients in just 3.5 years. We are obviously very passionate about helping small businesses grow their business in an omnichannel world. That's why Alex is going to be giving us some super useful tips today for business owners to help you navigate this difficult time. Alex, so let's start with the fact that you are a pretty big advocate for focusing on what you can control, right? This is something you've said in quite a few of your newsletters as well. Let's dig a little bit deeper into that today. I mean, obviously something like COVID-19 is completely beyond our control. I think a lot of people are struggling with this. It's also posed quite a few problems for us personally as Printulu. I mean, we weren't able to trade at all. So let's just get some clarity on that, I think, for our customers, why we chose to trade. I personally saw that some of our competitors were trading, especially now during the war. What informed your decisions there?
I mean, thanks, Trudy. So first of all, 100%, I think COVID-19 is out of everyone's control. And it's nothing we can control, but how we react to it is something we can control. And therefore, I think the reaction and how we adapt as business owners is also, at the end of the day, what's going to make or break the business in the short, medium, or long run. Given the regulations, I mean, this was one of the things that is a little bit annoying is that, first the government is shutting down the country, and then the different, companies interpreting the laws differently. You feel like nobody's really enforcing the rules, and it almost feels like there's a lot of gray areas that people are utilizing and trading. We've made the decision by basically reading through the law, the actual law, the Gazette that was published by the government. And it clearly indicated that you can manufacture and sell to Category A businesses. And therefore, we implemented rules and internal processes in order to ensure that. It's as simple as that. And I think other businesses took a different route here. But as a director of the company, you are ultimately responsible for your choices, and I think we took a conservative choice here.
All right, cool. Let's link into that, being conservative with your choices, especially. I think a big factor of the success in pretty much any business is the marketing and what you're doing with your marketing. Obviously, there isn't a set recipe for this. I mean, you have to experiment what works with your business, what doesn't work. But especially in such unprecedented times, there isn't really a set recipe to follow. So from your experience, what do you think is more likely to work right now in terms of marketing? Is there like anything that you would completely avoid doing?
So I would avoid focusing on things that have previously not worked, Trudy. Does that sound familiar to you?
Alex is putting me on the spot, guys.
So everything that hasn't worked previously, I would definitely not do in these times. I would really bank on experiments and things that have worked in the past, or that have some sort of higher likelihood to succeed. Maybe minimizing your upside, but also definitely minimizing your downside. And I would really double down on these things then that have previously worked and that have a lower likelihood, so to say, to fail. I think that's super important. You can't do everything. Resources, in particular in these times, are constrained. So you really have to identify the 1, 2, 3 things that really work and move the needle, and double down on this. I think that's a generic mindset. Don't try to do a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and at the end of the day, nothing is going to work.
But do you think there's let's just dig into that a little deeper. Do you think there's a bit? So a lot of people have either completely cut their marketing costs, or people are focusing specifically only on digital media. Some people are only focusing on social media. Some people are putting all of that effort into their website and blogging. Do you think that there is one specific thing that works better than the other?
There is no magic bullet in business, Trudy. Except go into some dodgy businesses, maybe, I don't know. But generally, no, there is no magic bullet. I think it really depends on the specific business. And then everyone has to identify that for themselves. In my experience, the first thing that business owners should do, and I've mentioned that already in a new series called The Emerging Entrepreneur that we're collaborating with Forbes Africa, is that the first thing that every business owner needs to do is secure liquidity, not over the next weeks, not over the next months, but over the next 6 to 9 to 12 months, is to have a backup plan on liquidity with severe impacts on your top line. And once this is done, I think then, as a business owner, you can focus on marketing. So would I recommend anyone to buy from us right now? No, don't buy from us if you haven't secured liquidity. Don't do it. If it's necessary to operate your business, then yes, because you need to place labels, you need to buy packaging, you need to buy whatever it is, display counter units. But generally focus on your liquidity. After that, use the time that you normally have on operational admin or fires to work on projects that A, generate liquidity potentially in the short run, and B, that have proper long-term benefits. So I would kind of split my time depending on how the liquidity situation is.
Okay. Alex, actually, we have a live comment, so I just want to focus on this quickly. From NW Smith, your question is actually filtering perfectly into what I was going to ask as well. They're asking, do you believe printing will now more than ever go completely digital due to reduced costs, variable data, and shorter runs? Would you like to answer that for us first?
Thank you, NW Smith, for this question. I think, what you can see in Europe already is that the runs are, I assume with digital, you mean digital printing. It depends. What you see in Europe is a clear indication that things go more towards the shorter runs, that the runs have become shorter. And that is a trend that we haven't seen yet in our business. However, going forward, there is a likelihood that this might happen. And especially in the sense of ensuring trackability and ensuring a certain degree of customization that is possible online in order to kind of adapt to that, it might be possible. Or it might be a scenario. In terms of costs, litho, when you're actually gang printing the jobs, is still significantly cheaper than digital printing. And digital printing costs have not come down to the extent that everyone in the printing industry expected. And we can all, I think, can say thank you to HP and the manufacturers. I think they have some very interesting pricing models where they're benefiting a lot from these digital printing contracts. And I think that's the reason why I think there will still be a place for litho, mainly in the long runs, obviously, which will become less, and in the gang run printing, whereas the customizable variable data jobs will definitely increase as a percentage. How much? Difficult to say.
Cool, thank you. Then my next question, personally, is obviously we've also seen that the printing industry now has taken quite a huge knock in the last few months. We've seen some major companies close their doors, Caxton in particular, quite recently. Do you see a future for print marketing after all of this? Where do you think this is going to be going forward? I think a lot of people are now thinking that digital is the only way to go.
In my opinion, it's the Caxton newspapers that have closed down. So the magazines from Caxton, not the printing group, has closed down. So Caxton as a printing group is still one of the biggest, I think, in South Africa. So what has a significant impact is the advertising spend that is being put into magazine ads, print ads in that sense. And that's an industry that is definitely taking a toll right now, and taking taking a strain at this moment. And I think this industry needs to reinvent themselves by being a little bit more innovative in how they're targeting clients, and how they're placing their ads, and how they're distributing their magazines. Do I believe they're dead? I don't believe they're dead. I think still people like it, to actually flip through magazines. And you can see that in the global print market for books. I mean, the global print market for books, everyone thought Kindles of the world and stuff would take over, the entire book industry, but it's actually not true. What has happened in the book industry is that the average person reads less in hard copy books, but in total, the super buyers, as you call them, they buy even more hard copy books. So the market has been quite steady, and the market share of the Kindle and all those e-readers is insignificant still. And I think here it really depends on the companies here, the print AdWord magazine companies, to write a similar story. In terms of now the printing industry, the actual manufacturing of print products, I think many manufacturers are struggling, and that's purely because of the setup of the business. If you look at what the setup of printing companies is you have machines, you have big premises to store those machines, you have a lot of people working in those facilities. It's manufacturing. And manufacturing companies normally have a high operating leverage, as you call in finance, and meaning you have high fixed cost compared to your revenue. And these businesses will struggle, and that has nothing to do with the printing industry, but it's all over the show in South Africa and around the world right now. Companies with high operating leverages are having difficulties to scale down their costs. And a lot of those companies will go under the longer the lockdown goes. There's no question about it. Yeah. And all these internet entrepreneurs or whoever who are saying that the lockdown should be extended all around the world, well, it's easy to say. You can still have your business and you can still trade, but for the actual people with manufacturing and operating leverage, it is very difficult at this moment. However, again, also there, you obviously have levers and mechanisms how you can do it. Negotiate with your landlord. If necessary, put people on short time. There are measures how you can obviously minimize the pain and ensure survival.
Yeah, I actually want to go into that. So you've spoken a lot about liquidity. You also mentioned that in your first newsletter that we sent out basically to our customers when you had started addressing COVID-19 and the effect it was having on us. I think let's focus mainly today on the things you would recommend a business owner cut in terms of, I think, fixed costs. Let's focus on fixed costs for now. What would you recommend?
I mean, the two things I already recommended is definitely speak to your landlord. You don't know how long this is going to take. We took a very drastic measure. We don't have an office anymore. For now, we're all working remotely. Hello, yeah. Trudy. How's it going at home? That's definitely one thing that everyone should consider, because all the models and all the liquidity forecasts and all the cash flow forecasts, I mean, they're based on assumptions, and you don't know whether these assumptions are right. So in that sense, rather plan a little bit more conservative on the lower end in terms of revenue, and that means you have to probably make a little bit more drastic cuts in terms of your fixed costs. The other thing that we've reduced is server costs. I mean, we had, I think, 30,000 Rand a month server costs from AWS, and we scaled that down to 15 to 20 now. So we almost halved our server costs. Then obviously there are a couple of other things. Go through every business should go through their actual bank statements. That's the easiest, because you have a lot of things where you're not even sure whether you're still using it, especially the older the company gets. And go through it line item by line item. Adobe, do we really need Adobe? Trudy?
Yes, we do. We're still doing design for free, I might add right now. So yes, please.
Okay, so we're not cutting on that then, but I mean there are a lot of tools that we cut right now, from landing page builders to some data warehousing tools and tracking tools and automation tools that we're simply not using anymore. Yeah, I mean that's really what I would recommend. And if really necessary, then then you have to start a conversation with people and your team, and then there are measures like the TERS fund to claim stuff back on behalf of the team. And I mean that has really worked well for us as well.
Okay. I actually want to go back to a previous question. This might be a bit random. Actually, hold on. I'm seeing something here. Yeah, we have another question, also again from NWNet. Do you believe there is a place in the market for low quality color at a reduced cost, as high quality digital color is very expensive, HP, for example?
No, to be fair, I don't. And we see it every day, is that especially the uneducated clients that don't know a lot about the technicalities behind print, they expect what they see on screen. And therefore, any product that's not up to what is seen on the screen is seen as as bad quality. And that's the problem, and that's you see it all over the show. Then that you have complaints, you're gonna have a lot of back and forth. You're gonna have reprints, and I think that's a big risk and big issue when you want to run a low quality printing facility. That's sort of my stake on that. That's why we are kind of using the high quality printing facilities, and we're trying to provide a high quality experience. And I think that's just from a manufacturing and kind of client expectations point of view, but also from a marketing point of view. When is the point where I would want to use print in my marketing funnel is when I really want to wow a client, when I want to give that extra touch, when I want to give that when I want to give a lead that I've already generated, whether that's online or offline, a particular special attention, for example, with the brochure, with the specific pamphlet, with a thank you note, with a thank you postcard, with a coupon on as a thank you postcard, whatever it is. But I want to basically, what I want to try to do with those print products is everyone is going digital, and I want to put my print into a digital funnel and want to try to increase the conversion rates by providing that extra little bit of care and build an extra little bit of relationship with my clients by doing something different. And therefore, I think quality, if the print industry wants to survive, they need to provide even better quality, and they need to even try to come closer to what the screen is showing, which is impossible.
Yes, I can verify that. I think also I just would like to add to that. I think I completely agree with what you said. You always run the risk of them kind of going overboard, and you're not really giving people what they are paying for at the end of the day. And I think linked into that, we actually have a bit of an announcement to make, Alex, about pricing and why we're doing what we're doing currently, and what we're doing from our side to avoid increasing our prices too much. Do you maybe want to go into that a little bit?
Well, what are you referring to, Trudy?
I'm referring to the fact that we are going to be increasing our prices from today on.
Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, we have to do that step. I mean, the rand has taken a complete dive in the last couple of months, and all of our manufacturers and suppliers are basically increasing their prices now in order to not run at a loss. And if the rand dips by 30%, I think from like 16 or 17 to 20 to the euro, the prices of paper that's mainly imported is affected as well. And right now we don't really have a chance. We're already running on super tiny margins because we don't have enough orders to actually batch them up effectively, and now this comes on top. So there has to be from our side a price increase, unfortunately. Truly sad face.
Yeah, it is. No, it is sad. Obviously, we really want to try to help businesses right now. That is it from my side personally. I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to add or go more into depth about, Alex. I don't know if anyone else has any more questions for us. Please post them so that we can answer them before we go.
Yeah. I think, Trudy, what is it from your side? Maybe is there something that you want to mention, particularly as a creative? What you think? Any graphics or anything that has worked particularly well, or what you've seen in the recent months that has really worked for us? If we're going back to the marketing initiatives.
Well, going back to the marketing initiatives that we've tried, I've really seen that trying to connect to people works. Obviously, if you're just going to be, if we're talking specifically from a graphic point of view, if you're just going to be posting something that looks like an ad, it doesn't really help. We're trying to connect to people. You're trying to meet people where they're at. So obviously using a lot of faces, trying to seem authentic, being transparent about where you're coming from, I think is the best option right now. At least that's what we've seen so far. As I mentioned, there isn't really a recipe that works, but we're still testing and we'll see where it goes. COVID-19 has really thrown everything for a loop. Hold on, we have another question. Let's see. Okay, so NW Smith is saying you have a very good answer, Alex, but what about training manuals, delivery notes, envelopes, where high quality at premium price is not required?
Those products where so thank you for your engagement. I like your I like that you're jumping in here. You have to ask yourself, are those products really the ones that can't be easily replaced by online media? And that's what I've been trying to say is if you don't want to be replaced, I think the only way to do this is by providing a emotional connection to the clients. And so would I want to give a delivery note to a client offline that looks kind of cack, as you say in South Africa? No, I wouldn't want to do that because it's another touch point with our clients. Then I rather send it digitally with nice colors and they can see it nicely on the computer. And the same thing with envelopes and training manuals. Training manuals is just another way how you can connect to your employees. And if you don't want to invest that extra money in print, then rather do it digitally. That's I think the recommendation I have for everyone is, if you're doing it, do it properly, build that extra connection, invest in it properly, and so you actually have the benefit from it.
100% agree. I actually just want to add to that. I think it's it's very easy to say, yeah, well, it's cheaper or whatever. But at the end of the day, print is there to make an impression. Why spend the money on it at all if you're not going to do it properly? Is at least my point of view on this, especially as a designer. Do it properly rather. Don't go halfway. Please don't. I'm begging you.
Cool. All right.
I'm learned from Alex swearing on live.
All right. Great. Okay. I just wanted to mention that that we are having a new podcast series here. I've mentioned it before with in cooperation with Forbes, which is called the Emerging Markets Entrepreneur Podcast. So guys, stay tuned for this. We're going to be answering a lot of questions with regards to liquidity management, with regards to what you can do to kickstart your business again, inviting some experts from a legal profession, from an economist perspective, from different kind of angles, in order to kind of just discuss the trade-offs. So stay tuned. We're launching a lot of new content in cooperation with Forbes.
And
Trudy,
then,
thank you for doing this.
wait. We have one very final announcement that we didn't actually get into, Alex. For anyone watching this, for anyone that's interested, we are officially open for trading. You don't need any permits anymore. So I was live yesterday and we had just gotten the news, so we weren't really sure where this was going to go, but we've gotten confirmation and you don't need a permit. We can print and we are back. So we are very excited. Hey.
Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Alex, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time on a Friday.
Okay. Thank you, Trudy. Thank you for all the listeners. Bye.
Bye.